Look, I don't know if you need an extra $100 a week. I don't know if an extra $500 a week, maybe even $1,000 a week will help you out with your current situation. But I'm gonna show you another way legally of getting it, as opposed to the traditional 9 to 5. So stay tuned and get ready as I show you how to sell used books on Amazon FBA. If this is your first time visiting, my name is Leo and welcome. I am a real estate investor and that's how I make a full-time living, and I sell used books on Amazon FBA. Now I know in this day and age we're all crunched for time. Everything's just taking up our time these days, just life, business, the kids, but it always seems like we never have enough to quite finish off the month. You know, it's either we're living paycheck to paycheck, or shoot, maybe we just don't have a job right now. Maybe we just need to figure out a way to make a few dollars. I know probably around the time my second daughter was born, I have 4 kids, so don't tell me you don't have time for this. I've got a 17-year-old. As a matter of fact, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Monet. I've got a 10-year-old, I've got a 7-year-old, and I've got a 4-year-old. So don't use time as an excuse, okay? If I can do it, so can you. But I know a few years ago, around the time my second daughter was born, man, it was a tough time, man. I was a real estate investor. I still am a real estate investor. I was investing heavy in real estate. I actually was like a kid in a candy store. And what you find yourself doing is overextending yourself and buying too many pieces of real estate without enough cash flow coming in. So about 6 months there, it really got tight. I mean, it got tight to the point to where I was applying for jobs. I was putting out resumes. At the same time, I was still looking for real estate deals. I mean, it was a hectic time, but thank God it was another one of those moments that he came through and pulled us through, and I'm here to tell you all about it so that you don't make the same mistakes, or maybe you get yourself out of that hole right now. Because if somebody would have shown me this back then, if I would have stumbled across a video or anything on YouTube back then, if I would have been thinking of how to make money or typing into Google of how to make extra money, man, this right here would have been a lifesaver. Now, what I'm gonna share with you today is something that can be used for just about any product that you can possibly think of. Go in your shelves, go out throughout your cabinets, go throughout your entire home, anything with a barcode for the most part. And just take a look at it. What do you typically buy when you go out to the stores? What do you typically buy on Amazon, eBay, etc.? The one thing that really intrigued me were books, books, books. Why? Books had changed my life so much. I mean, they really made a great impact on my life. So that was one reason. Another reason is I remember in college during my undergrad program that, man, those books were expensive. I remember some of those textbooks were $200-300 for one book, and that was one class. Then I moved into my master's program, and oh my goodness, it was like double the price. Yeah. I also chose books because it's a low cost. I mean, the cost of inventory, you've got a lot of people that really don't value books. You know, I've been out to yard sales and, you know, people are pretty much giving away books. I've been to a thrift store where they gave me books. They just gave them away to me. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. The first thing you have to do is go to Amazon and register for a seller's account. Now, I know with me, it took like 24 hours. I had to go ahead and upload some information. I think it was a photo ID and input all my information and everything. And it was about 24 hours, and then boom, I was in there. Now, there's different ways to sell on Amazon. Two of the most common ways are the merchant fulfilled, which is like your traditional online stores where you hold your inventory at your home or in your warehouse, and as the orders come in, you package them, fulfill them, ship them out, take care of all the servicing as far as the customer service is concerned, and things of that nature. And then you have FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. With FBA, you create the listing, Amazon takes care of the storing, the packaging, the shipping, the customer service, and your products will receive the Prime badge. In my opinion, this is the easiest way starting out. It pretty much takes care of the majority of your customer service, freeing up your time to source inventory. Amazon stocks about 40 million titles. And out of those 40 million titles, we're only looking for about 5% of them. So where are we going to find these things? First place I would suggest is just go around your house. Do you have any books lying around? Do you have any family members who may have some books? Do you have any neighbors who may have some books? Next, I would go ahead and go out to the thrift stores. Check your Goodwills, check your Salvation Armies, your Savers, your Value Villages, any thrift stores you have in the area. Just go on Google and start looking for them. Just thrift store, whatever city you're in. You also have library sales. I've also been to estate sales. I've bought books online and turned around and sold them online. I've also bought books in bulk. That's actually an operation that I plan to expand. However, I realize that the biggest constraint with that is going to be space. And with the way the environment is right now, as far as the economy, I'm gonna just hold out for just a second, but that is still in the plan. If you want to see some examples of us actually out there getting it in, I'm gonna leave a card right here to take you to our playlist of us going out there and sourcing books, so check it out. It's interesting. This is a scale we use. This is an extra one that we have for our other location. It's an Accutech. It's worked out pretty good for us, but you definitely want to have the monitor separate from the base. That way when you put the box on the base, you can see what the scale is or the weight is without having to pick the box up really fast and check out the weight underneath the scale, like I did in the beginning when we used our bathroom scale. Boy, oh boy, that was a pain. Well, this is what we use. We've got our brown craft paper to stuff our boxes to make sure they're tight and snug. We've got our baby wipes, just in case there's some minor blemishes on the cover, we can just wipe them down. We've got our shipping labels. We've got our product labels. We've got a tape measure, our barcode scanner. We've got our sanding block for the edges, just in case there's some minor blemishes on those as well. We've got our tape and our tape gun, pen and pad. We've got our saran wrap that we use when we're mailing in sets, or if we're mailing in books that have supplemental data. And of course, the boxes that we use, the Lowe's 16 12 by 12 small moving boxes. I'll leave a link for all applicable items in the description below. Check it out. Now, when I go out into these stores, I take a barcode scanner with me, a Bluetooth barcode scanner. And what this does is it allows me to go through the books a lot faster. What I do is I just scan the books just like you do when you're checking out at one of the Walmarts or Targets, and doot, 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 you're allowed to just go through it really fast. You're like that, doot, doot, doot. Anyhow, yeah. This right here is a pretty popular series for the most part. This right here is your barcode. You would typically take your barcode scanner and just scan it, and it would go right into your phone, show you all the data, let you know if it's an accept or a reject. Another place you can find the ISBN is right there, that 978-0316 number. There's also another location to find the ISBNs when you go to the title page. This is your title page. On the back of your title page, let me just scroll through it. 2010, first edition, and there it is right there. Sometimes you'll actually have a 10-digit ISBN number as well. And worst case scenario, if you come across a book that doesn't have an ISBN, what I would typically do is take a screenshot of the book with the scanning app. If it didn't pop up that way, I would go ahead and write out the title, and I would write out the author's last name, typically, Meyer, and I would actually put the date, the publication date of the book, which is 2010, just the year. And normally that would bring up the book. Here's another example I wanted to show you guys, because sometimes you'll have 2 barcodes on the back, 3 barcodes on the back of a book. Like I said, you're typically looking for the one that's identified as the ISBN, or sometimes it just starts with 978. That's normally the code or the barcode you want to scan. Also, with this one, the ISBN is found on the front cover, on the back of the front cover. So, this is a workbook. Sometimes you'll get a book in like this. Of course, this is a dud with the big old stain on it. We don't send anything like that. But like I said, the ISBN is on the back of your title page. Scroll on down and there you go. Also, make sure you're getting the ISBN for the correct format, whether it's hardback, paperback, spiral bound, etc. Don't want to make that mistake. This is a spiral bound book. Find the ISBN there. And you could also find it there, as well as there, same page. Here's another example. Flip that over. That is not an ISBN. These Abeka books are familiar with that right there. A lot of times you'll find that they do not have ISBNs, but what you will have to do is manually type it in and then look for the correct format and make your selection. There are also other apps out here that you could use to help you analyze the data when you're out there sourcing books. They're not really required, they just make things a little easier. You could just use the Amazon Seller app, which is the one that you get for free, and start that way. One of the things you want to look for when you're going out to these stores are textbooks. Now, everybody that's been to college, you remember the pain, right? You remember the pain? Now it's time to recoup. You look for textbooks, nonfiction, interesting topics. Those tend to be what stands out that I'm starting to notice. It's also one of them things that you're going to get a better feel for it the more you do it. So there's no shortcut in this one. So just get out there, start scanning, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, every book that Amazon has in its catalog has an assigned sales rank. It's not a static number, it's more like a snap in time, and it kind of reflects the demand for the book. So the lower the number, the higher the demand. So a book that's ranked number 1 is probably selling off the shelves faster than you can replace them. Where a book ranked 20 million may sell once in a blue moon. However, as time goes by, you'll get a better feel for it. You'll be able to gauge what sells and what doesn't, how often. You'll get a better gauge for it. You'll also notice when you're out there scanning that some of your books are going to be restricted, meaning that you are unable to sell that book. Now, Amazon has several textbooks especially that you're unable to sell for whatever reason, whether it's they're trying to keep the publishers happy or keep the fraudulent claims down. They just restrict certain buyers or certain sellers from selling certain textbooks. Typically, I take my books and send them off to eBay and sell them that way. Now, listing books, the easiest way I found is to just go into Amazon's site, type in the ISBN number, and then scroll down to the bottom and click sell one like this. There's also 5 different categories of conditioning. You've got new, you've got like new, very good, good, and acceptable. I'll tell you, I don't list anything new. If I get something that's brand new, the best I will list it is like new. Because Amazon takes that really serious. I like to look at my account, like some of the older veterans will tell you, as $1 million account. So if you're looking at your account as $1 million account, do you want to jeopardize that by possibly sending in a used book as brand new? It's up to you. Another thing is we under-promise and over-deliver. So what we do is we take all of our grading down a notch. So like I said before, if it's brand new, we'll list it as like new. If it's like new, we'll list it as very good. If it's very good, we'll list it as good. And if it's good, we'll list it as acceptable. It's completely up to you. I will tell you that I've noticed that really helps out with your feedback. And I know in the beginning, feedback is going to be a doozy because people like to purchase their items from people who have reputable accounts. Also, when you're out here in these thrift stores, look for signed books. As you're thumbing through them, looking for the ISBNs, you're going to come across quite a few signed books. I will tell you, go ahead and purchase them. When you're out there, what's 50 cents, what's $1? Just take a shot for it, why not? And go home and list it on eBay. I found that most signed books on the low end, I've seen them go for 15 to 20 bucks. And on the high end, up for $6,000 like the other guy that sold his on eBay. Now, when you're pricing your items, I will tell you, when it comes to books, the buy box is what you want to aim for, because that's where the majority of the sales are going to come from. The lowest price does not necessarily guarantee you the buy box. I would tell you, I've had the buy box and my price was higher for a same condition item. I think because maybe our feedback was stronger, maybe our account was stronger. I'm really not too sure of the parameters for that, but I will tell you that your feedback and your pricing does play a big role in whether or not you get that buy box. Also, as you accumulate more items, I think around a few hundred items, I started using a repricer. Initially it helped out, and as I grew bigger and bigger, my inventory size got larger. My repricer, I don't know, I think I messed it up. A lot of people tend to have success with their repricer. What I found is just to use the Amazon's repricer. And if you're setting your minimums and your maximums on each item, how can you go wrong, right? It's been working for me so far. Now, the good thing about Amazon FBA is instead of shipping out one item at a time, you're allowed to fill up a box full of items, send it off to them. They'll store it in their warehouses until the item sells. Once the item sells, they'll pick it, they'll pack it, they'll ship it out to the customers while you're focusing on sourcing more items to send into Amazon FBA. They normally try to send your package to the nearest fulfillment center. However, you will notice sometimes you'll get split shipments to where some items may go to one main warehouse while a few others are shipped halfway across the world. No, I'm just joking. While a few of the other items are shipped, to another fulfillment center somewhere in the US. Now, once you send your boxes off to Amazon, it's going to take a few days for them to receive it, unpackage it, put everything up. Once they receive it, you should start to see your sales trickle in. And that will be the defining moment where you realize that, hey, this thing is possible. Then you turn your focus on feeding the beast, building that inventory, getting it up, because this is a numbers game. The more items you have for sale, the more sales you make, as long as they're in-demand items. Now, collecting the paydays, I know our first payday wasn't that great or substantial. It was about 60 to 90 days in that the business was up and providing for itself. It was pretty much self-sufficient. And 90 days in, we were full speed ahead. Now, I know I haven't covered every little detail about selling used books on Amazon FBA, but I think I've definitely given you enough to get started. I will also tell you to visit Amazon Seller University. They've got some other videos there and some more information about their whole platform and how to get everything up and running. And I'll also ask that if you received any value from this video today, smash that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you know of anybody that may need to make an extra $100, $500, $1,000 a week, then share this video on all your social medias. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and click on that bell icon to be notified of every time a new video is posted. And until next time, be good, do good, and take care.